Okay, it is 5 o'clock, June the 12th. We're at the CCAT building. This is Budget and Finance. I call the meeting to order. We have taken the roll and recorded the attendance on the sheet, and I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Stubblefield, second by Ms. Jones. Any discussion, any additions to the agenda? Okay. All those in favor by aye? Aye. Okay. Public comments. Number one is Mariana Edinger.
Before we get started, I want to remind everybody, please silence your phone.
Okay, good evening. The reason why I asked to speak is I've had complaints that I don't speak loud enough. So I wanted to make sure everybody heard me. This is really about the budget, but I wanted to get this out here before we got deep into the agenda tonight. So, good evening. In order to be heard clearly, like I said, I request to speak here. So for those who don't know me, my name is Mariana Edinger. I've served as the Coffee County Director of Accounts and Budget since March 2006. This budget here is currently my 20th budget. I tend to be brief and wish to comment that personally I've been tremendously disturbed by reaction and the untrue comments that are being circulated that have been told to me over this particular budget. To address the issue of the TVA revenue, which stands for the Tennessee Valley Authority State Revenue Sharing. These are property taxes that are assessed to the TVA for any personal property that is located in Coffee County. It's collected by the state, shared with all counties and cities. The revenue is one of the few that does not affect any maintenance of effort. If the Coffee County legislative body deems it appropriate to give a portion of that revenue to the rural schools, that is their right. This was done many years ago during periods of severe funding issues as a short-term option and was never intended to be permanent. The TVA revenue rightfully belongs to the Coffee County General Fund, and we have reduced that funding in the past to accommodate the rural school budget. Furthermore, the county legislative body approves the amount of local revenues that is budgeted for the schools. That's all the schools. So I understand that April, the school finance director, and Dr. Hargrove, as well as the school board members, being upset by this action. I, of all people, fully comprehend how time-consuming it can be to recalculate a budget. However, nothing is firm regarding any county budget until the Coffee County legislative body approves it. Therefore, I offer the following funding suggestions regarding the Coffee County Schools General Purpose Fund. The TVA revenue that was removed was $671,240. There's an increase of current property tax of $260,111. There is an increase of local option sales tax of $189,830. As far as expenditures, I think it wise that the county pay the train bond payment that is currently budgeted in the Coffee County Schools general purpose budget in the amount of $302,250 and pay that in the rural debt service fund because that is the appropriate place. That the net effect on fund balance is the increase to the general Coffee County General Purpose School Fund of $130,951. Furthermore, I suggest we continue to pay the train bond payment from the rural debt service fund until the bond is paid off. A savings to the county general purpose school fund over 6 years of $2,121,000. That allows a significant period of time where the other revenue can be discussed and hopefully found. We have also budgeted $650,000 to buy 4 school buses. That brings a total. We have, no, I didn't provide that. over the years since 2014, that's provided $5.3 million worth of funding for school buses and other major capital projects for the schools. So that's all I have on the school general purpose fund. The county general fund, I have found out that we can pay the enterprise debt service, the enterprise capital leases from the debt service fund, general debt service. And although we can't pay those all at once, there's a timing issue, but they can. So I removed the $500,000 from the sheriff's budget, and we will put that over in general debt service. Also, I've removed the $150 for jail HVAC repair and put it over in the capital project fund to purchase the HVAC units as they are needed. And then any other major capital purchases that I saw, there were several. Of course, the sheriff's fund's always the biggest. I'm not picking on you. I'm just trying to find, these are just my suggestions. We can decrease that by $50,000. We can increase, I believe we need to increase the 911 contribution by any additional budgetary funding we give them by whatever the amount is over last year, which amounts to $105,102. The other thing, I think we need to remove the 2% salary increase, leaving the 5%. Longevity pay is still in the budget. That's a savings of $307,631. We had a little bit of difference, Sheriff, on the sheriff deputy salaries. I spoke to Frank Watkins, so we'll add back the $450,000 in the 106 line item. The current deficit, according to the document that was given at the county commission meeting Tuesday night, current deficit in the general fund is $2,665,646. With these adjustments, that brings it down to $1,603,013. So I just wanted to state that before we started.
Okay. All right. Next person, Anthony Harden.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Anthony Harden, and I serve as a deputy sheriff in this county. I'm here not only as a public servant, but as a fiance, a community member, and someone who cares deeply about the future of this place we all call home. I want to talk to you not as a number on a payroll, but as a human being who shows up every day to do a difficult and dangerous job. I respond to crisis calls, I put my life on the line, and I wear this badge with pride. But the truth is, myself and many other co-workers are reaching a breaking point. My fiance is currently in college working hard to earn a degree and build a better life for us. Because of her full-time commitment to school, she can't work full-time. That means I am the sole provider for us. Despite risking my life on duty for your families and mine, I'm paid $19 an hour. For that, I work nights, I work weekends, and I miss holidays with my family. Holidays that you all get off. And sometimes I work scenes that no one should ever have to witness. I'm not asking for a praise or special treatment. I'm only asking for fairness and respect through action. Right now, I can't afford to buy a home at $19 an hour, and neither could any of you. I can't build a future with my fiance in this community. Health insurance costs are through the roof. And it's not just me. Many of my fellow officers and county employees are in the same position. Some of my partners I work with every day work 2 full-time jobs, not because they want to, but because they have to. Others are working part-time jobs on top of full shifts in uniform. And we're burning out fast. We are giving everything we have to this county, but we're not receiving anything in return. And many of us are hanging on by a thread. Many of you may not know it, but a large amount of county employees are actively seeking other jobs. That should be a serious concern and a wake-up call for all of you. If these people leave, if we continue to lose experienced, dedicated workers, the services this county depends on and your families depend on will suffer. I love my job, I truly do, but I can't continue to do it at this salary, not without sacrificing my own family's future. And that's the hardest thing I have to admit. Loving what I do, but knowing I can't afford to keep doing it. Commissioners, we are asking and pleading for real change. We're not here asking for luxury. We're asking for a livable wage. For benefits that don't leave our families underwater, and for policies that show us we matter not just in words and in actions. Because right now, it feels like you, the county commissioners, do not care about us. And that has to change. Thank you for your time, and I sincerely hope you take this to heart.
Devin Nolan.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Devin Nolan. I'm a deputy here in Coffee County, and I'm proud to wear the badge and serve this community. I'm also just 3 years out of high school. Like many people my age, I'm trying to build a future, start a career, raise a family one day, and live an honest life doing something that matters. But tonight I want to speak truthfully about something that's hard to say and even harder to live with. $19 an hour is not enough to start a life, and it's especially not enough in law enforcement. This job is not just a paycheck, it's a calling. I knew it required sacrifice, I understood the risk, and I accepted the responsibility. But what I did not expect was even working a full-time job as a deputy, I'd struggle to afford the basic necessities that most people take for granted. And it's not just me. Some of my fellow deputies, grown men and women, experienced professionals, are relying on government assistance just to get by. That's not a small issue. That's a warning sign. And let's be honest, most people with families can't afford insurance that the county provides. That's a real problem. For those of us doing some of the hardest and most dangerous work, with no room in our budget for coverage that we need to protect our own families, something seriously is wrong when the people who protect and serve this community can't afford to feed their kids or cover their medical needs without outside help. To be honest with you, it's hard to stay with the county when I could go to the city and make $4 more an hour starting out, doing the same job and sometimes with fewer responsibilities. That difference is life-changing. A lot of people wouldn't think twice about making the switch, and the only reason I stay, and I mean this sincerely, is because Sheriff Barton and the leadership team that he's built. They believe in us, they support us, and they make us feel like more than just a badge number. But no matter how good the leadership is, it's incredibly hard to build a life, let alone a career, on $19 an hour. We're not asking for luxuries. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for fairness, for dignity, for the basic chance to live and plan a future without having to choose between rent, groceries, and medical care. I joined this profession because I believe in making a difference. I believe in helping people. I believe in doing what is right, even when it's hard. It's becoming harder and harder to give 100% to a county that doesn't seem willing to invest in their deputies in return. $19 an hour is not enough to raise a family. It's not enough to live on. It's not enough for the profession that demands sacrifice, strength, and selflessness. Commissioners, we show up for you guys. We show up for your neighborhoods, your families, and your emergencies, day or night, rain and shine. I'll leave you with this. Do you guys know what it's like to perform CPR on a loved one, someone's loved one? To give everything you have, physically and emotionally, for over an hour trying to save a life, and watch that life slip away. That loss stays with the families, but it stays with us too. We carry it home. We carry the faces, the pain, and the weight of those moments, because we're human and it affects us deeply. All we're asking is that you see us, you value us, and you show up for us the same way that we show up for you guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Flores.
Good evening. I'm Juan Flores. I'm 26 years old. I've had the honor of serving Coffee County as a deputy sheriff for the last 8 years. Since graduating the police academy, I've worn this uniform from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. to protect the citizens of this community as they sleep. I've responded to hundreds of motor vehicle accidents and watched numerous mangled bodies take their last breaths because I couldn't take them out of the car fast enough. I've kicked many doors down of homes of elderly people in distress so that EMS could try to save their lives. I performed CPR more times than anyone ever should. I've been face to face with an armed man that was so unhappy with his life that he was willing to shoot at me in order for me to take his life, and he did. I've spoken to hundreds of beaten women and begged them to let me help them. I've watched children witness situations that no child ever should. I've spent holidays on FaceTime from my patrol car with my family, and I've missed out on important family events. My contacts are messed up. I've also watched deputies come and go. They start their law enforcement career in Coffee County and then move on to the next county. Not for a higher position, not for more experience, not to further their career, but simply to make enough money to justify the sacrifice. Ouch. I apologize, guys. I personally know deputies with one foot out the door. They are starting a family, and Coffee County simply doesn't pay enough for this to sustain it. I've watched my partner deliver groceries in order to cover his family's expenses. I filled out applications for other departments myself. Then I think about that man that leads this department, and it stops me in my tracks. In the meantime, I spend my days off in Nashville working a security job that pays more than my job here at home. The boots I wear on my feet, the cuffs on my belt, and the pen in my pocket come from my paycheck. I ask that you think about these things that we deal with and that the problems that we solve that you don't have to think about. Vote like my family depends on it, because they do. Thank you.
Larry McKelvey.
Good afternoon to the committee, to the citizens of Coffee County. I hope you're hearing what these deputies are saying. We do a tough job, and all we ask for is to be competitively paid. Our county is set aside and sets aside money for a rainy day, and we always do, and that's a good principle. That's a good way to go. But don't create a rainy day. Sheriff Parton and his staff choose the best young men and women that they can find, and they train them up. And it costs us as citizens money. But when they can go somewhere else nearby and get paid more, where's the true cost? Where's the loss? It's to us as citizens. I hope you'll look at this in your heart. I know we've got money sitting in other places that isn't part of what they're talking about right now. Pay us competitively. Pay these young men and women competitively so that they're not pulled to other departments. Save our county that way. These are our tax dollars, your tax dollars. Thank you.
Matthew.
Has anybody pulled this meeting up on their phone, and is this podium shown in the camera?
I got it over as far as.
The camera view, I just wanna be sure.
They can see you, they can see them, I believe.
Go ahead, sir.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Scoot it over just to be sure.
Come on over. I think it's right in there.
Is this good?
Yes.
That's definitely.
That'll work.
All right.
I got you back. He does.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Matthew Miller, and I proudly served as a night patrol sergeant with Coffee County Sheriff's Department for coming up on 7 years. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. This department and this community are more than just a job. They are my home away from home. I take great pride in serving the people here, standing beside my fellow officers and doing my part to keep the community safe and strong. The commitment means something to me. It always has. But I also have another home, my family. And lately, I've had to make impossible choices between providing for them financially and being present for them emotionally and physically. I've taken every overtime opportunity available. I've worked second jobs. I've even done spark delivery for Walmart here in this community, just to try to keep up with the rising costs. I'm not afraid of hard work, but despite all that, I find myself falling behind, and worse, I find myself missing the moments with my family that I can never get back. I want to be a provider, but also a present father and husband, and right now, I'm being stretched so thin that I feel like I'm failing at both. If something doesn't change, if our compensation doesn't begin to reflect the cost of living and the demands of the job, I'll be forced to consider leaving the department to seek other meanings to supporting my family. That would be a painful decision because I truly love this department and what it stands for. But I have to do what's best for my family. I'm not here asking for more just because I want it. I'm asking because I need it, and so do many other officers serving alongside me. Fair, competitive pay helps retain dedicated public servants. It strengthens morale, improves service to community, and lets us show up not just for our jobs, but our families too. Thank you for your time, and thank you for considering what this truly means, not just for our paychecks, but for our lives.
Sheriff?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm a little under the weather. I think I got a little dose of pneumonia, so bear with me. Start out with, I want to say how thankful I am for the words I heard and the men and women that are here, these young men and women asked to come speak to you. And we generally don't like those tactics with the commissioners. It's the first time in my 33-year career that I know we've had this many deputies in a committee room to speak to you. We've shown up to meetings before over different topics and programs, but to speak to you directly about what is affecting them personally, I think it's the first time. It's really brave of them to do that. And I want them to know how much I appreciate them. And I want all the county employees to know how much I appreciate them, because we all interact with each other every day. We may not always get along or agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all in this pot together called Coffee County. I've spent my entire career, for the most part, right here in the county. I've had opportunities to go to Nashville just of recently, and in the last few years to bigger, better things. So have a lot of these folks, and I chose to stay here because I care about y'all. And if I can't help the folks, my own neighbors, and do what I'm doing here in Coffee County, then, you know, what good am I? I've been thinking here lately, if I can't keep producing and trying to help those men and women that are in this room today, then where am I going as sheriff? I've provided them the equipment, I've provided them the training and the knowledge, all aspects of everything a deputy sheriff should get, but one thing, and that is the investment into their future. And I've got to fight for that. I've got to fall on the sword for it. If it takes a tax increase voted by this body to get them and all the county employees where they need to be, then I am willing to fall on that sword and take that chance. Elections are not what I'm here for. I don't give a flying damn about getting reelected. And that's the God honest truth. I came to this office as a deputy sheriff working in the jail. Me and Chief Watkins in 1993. Y'all don't even know what we made, because we wanted to set our career. And I've worked at that, and I worked at that, and then I became sheriff with one thing, one topic, to make it a better place than the way it was left. And that the way that is investment into the employees. I don't want to hurt some feelings, but, you know, somebody can bring up about the damn dog pound and cats and dogs. Yeah, I love my dogs. I'm out of the dog business. My dogs all died. We can prioritize other stuff out here. Economic development. We can do mega sites. We can worry about water and sewer. Those are all important. But guys, what you don't understand is if you don't have the employees to implement those utilities or those structures or those businesses, you ain't going to have nothing. You ain't going to have nobody drive the fire trucks. You ain't gonna have nobody to drive the backhoe to lay the water line. You're not gonna have nobody to do the maintenance to the buildings. And you sure as heck ain't gonna have nobody to respond to that emergency that you need, from our EMTs to our deputies and our firemen to EMA to the clerks in our offices. Each one of them do something different. It's what makes the big call go around. And the only analogy I can put to it is the small tiny gears within the big gear. If the little tiny gear's not turning, then the final gear's not turning. And when I start losing those little bitty gears, we've got a cog in the system, and it's going to hurt. We've got right at 400 inmates out here at this jail, and I never would have thought in my 30 plus years that I would have had the mean people that's in that jail today. And I'm telling you guys, they're mean. I got one inmate out there right now. If he gets one chance to come out that door, he's going to get his arms around one of those young corrections officers. He's going to put a shank in their neck, and he's going to go out that back 78 door, and he's going to be gone. He's wanted for assassinating 2 people in Chicago. Shot a state trooper on our interstate, and he does not care. I've got another inmate try to shoot me in the head down in Tullahoma at point blank range. He's looking at 320 years. He's got nothing to lose. And I've got 18, 19, and 20-year-olds out there guarding him. 18, 19, and 20-year-olds out there guarding him. I generally don't come to y'all. Every one of y'all are my friends. I consider every one of you family. But this county is in great financial shape. It's in great financial shape because of all the work you've done, all the work that these employees have done, each department. Our school system is in great financial shape because of the people in the past that watched those dollars. We cannot keep building these big funds and building these big funds. Please, I'm begging of you, cash a CD and invest in something. Invest in the county employee. I know we've got growth coming. We got a lot of growth coming. Trust me. How well I've been put in a bad spot between myself and some good friends and the mayor that I love with all my heart. From developers I've known all my life. My daddy done developing. My daddy did farming. My daddy done it all. And I'm in with all these people. I know what's coming. I know where there's 1,000 acres right now that snap of a finger's going to have rooftops on it. And it's only if that man wants to pull that trigger, it'll be done. And it's got sewer right on it. We have to build for the future. I've not asked you for one position as a deputy sheriff. I've asked for 2 positions since I've been sheriff, and it was the 2 records people that are scanning records. You know why I haven't asked you for any additional positions? Because I can't fill the ones I got. Frank, how many deputy sheriff positions for the road have we got open right now?
I believe it's 5.
I've got the cities filled up. I've loaded the city police up. It's time. Please. It's time. And like I said, I mean it to the taxpayers that's watching this. If you need another sheriff, you're going to get that chance in May and August of next year. I'm about to my wit's end. I've done about all I can do. And if I've done, and I've always said, if I couldn't do no more, I'd walk away and let somebody else do it. But I can tell you, I've struggled and struggled for the last 7 years to give back to this commission and this legislative body over $4.5 million out of my budget. Now, a lot of that was in salaries. I do know that. But there's nobody that can run that place as tight as me and Frank Watkins and Jennifer Green. And we'll use baling wire and duct tape every chance we get. And some of you sitting at this table have worked out there. Tim, you've been there. Laura, you've been there. Stubbfield, you worked there back in the day. Terry Hirschman should be a deputy sheriff as much as he's out there. The clerks, all of you, appreciate you. You got a difficult job. You got to put up with a bunch of judges and attorneys and egos. I know what it's like. I have to put up with it too. We've got a great county. We've got a great future. The future is not bleak for Coffee County. Nowhere near it. We got water lines that's going to get run. We got sewer lines that's going to get run. It's going to happen whether we approve it or not. It's going to happen. And the governor of this state, he's going to fill that big industrial park out there. He's going to feel it. It's tough. Yes, I understand about controlled growth. We had a 10-year plan, and I'm still with that 10-year plan. I just need to catch up with the empty white spots I've got on Frank's wall over there. And if we can get to that, we're good. We're just in 7 years into the 10-year plan, but I'm going backwards. And I'm wearing these boys and girls out with overtime. I'm wearing them out. Another thing I want to address real quick, for all of you listening and all you trollers and warriors, if I hear one more thing about Bonnaroo money, there is no Bonnaroo money.
Thank you.
I don't know where you come up with it. There's sales tax that comes into it, but you know who gets the Bonnaroo money? The state of Tennessee gets the Bonnaroo money. We've got a little old ticket fee. I said it right, didn't I, Marianne? I didn't say ticket tax, did I? I said ticket fee.
Yeah.
It's tiny. Maybe $200,000 we get out of that. Folks, my budget alone's right at $13 million. So Bonnaroo is Bonnaroo. Great. It's wonderful. I'm sick of Bonnaroo, personally. Bonnaroo's not helped me do nothing but cause me a pain in my rear side. Running all over the country picking up folks for Bonnaroo charges. We had to go to Oregon twice to pick up some Bonnaroovian over some dope charge. That cost us money. $3,000 or more on one trip. Who's the victim in that? The taxpayer.
Hey Chad, I have a question about that.
Yes, ma'am.
So the tax fee, was that set when it first came? Has it ever went up?
No, that was set, Ms. Reed, a couple of years ago when the county and the city kind of got into it when the city annexed, and the county went in and set a fee towards the tickets. And by private act, it was done at the state legislature, so it's a graduated fee. So whatever, the best I remember, in case something changed. So the price of the ticket, if it's a lower amount of, like a $200 ticket, I think there's $1 or whatever, and it goes up. And if you're part of a big high dollar package ticket, it might go up to $5. It's not a lot of money, but they tried to set up a cafeteria plan on you, the county body, to turn that around to where it was kind of charity welfare back to Bonnaroo, where you would take that ticket money and designate it back to them to where you would have to pay for their road widenings and all that. That was one of those deals. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that's gained off Bonnaroo, you know, churches and ball teams and stuff, but I'll just tell you, with this new bunch, it's taken over Live Nation. Y'all know who owns Live Nation? Well, now that we're talking, do anybody in here know who owns Live Nation? The Saudis, the Kuwaitians, Big Oil. They don't give a crap about us. They've got trillions of dollars. Their headquarters is in Beverly Hills. They don't care about us. They've got the highest priced attorneys to come down here and look at us hillbillies and mess with us. They don't care about us. And when that all wads up out there, they'll be gone. And it'll be one hell of a subdivision. Yes, sir, Mr. Miller.
Well, that Bonnaroo money goes to tourism, basically.
Goes to
So
tour.
you don't get it in pay or.
Yeah, it goes back to promote them. It goes back to promote them. And it's not worth none. Right here, these deputies would much rather be somewhere with their families right now, because when I get done here, they're all getting up and they're going 10-8. They're going back to their post at Bonnaroo, and I appreciate them. I appreciate y'all. We're not trying to show you, we're not trying to be intimidating. I do not like that. I do not like that. What I'm saying is you need to hear from these kids. You need to hear from them. And some of you are married to some officers that's been around here for a long time. And I can tell you, Miss Leanne Parton sacrificed a lot because of my career. Sacrificed a lot. Lee and Laura Nettles sacrificed a lot. We done it because we wanted to be here. Why do we teach school in Coffee County and not Rutherford County or Davidson County? It's because we want to be here to teach our young people, because we had good rural people teaching us. Because I wanted to ride Mr. Shores' bus. I wanted to ride Mr. Morris's bus. I wanted Miss Linda Johnson to teach me in 5th grade, and Miss Floyd in 4th, and Miss Shelton in 3rd, and Miss Latitude in 2nd, and my precious Donna Dunn and Susie Boyd in 1st and kindergarten. That's why. Why do I want to be sheriff? Hell, I don't know. I don't know. Why do I get up and keep doing it? I'm sick as a horse today. Why does Jenny want to be clerk? Why does Sheila want to do what she's doing? I don't know. Why does John and Donna want to keep doing it? I don't know. Why in the heck does Dennis Hunt want to be up here putting up with all of us when he could be living life? Why Mariana's been here? I was sitting beside her the night she got hired. You do it because you're good at what you do. You feel like you're giving back, and you are. Those numbers right there are tough, or is a tough thing to do. It is. And I know Bobby Bryan trained you up, Tim, and I know about reoccurring expenditures. I know about reoccurring expenditures, and Bobby Bryan was good at it. And I miss him at times, even though he was hard-headed, but he was a dang good county commissioner. We're going to miss Lynn Seaburn, but for every person that leaves, there's somebody else that'll come along, and our future is bright, guys. And I'm telling you, I think I can go right out the front doors of this mayor's office right now, and if there was, for some unknown reason, Mayor, that you had to get on, do something for a tax increase, I guarantee you I can rally the troops. I guarantee it. Citizens will stand behind our school superintendent. The citizens will stand behind our deputies. The citizens will stand behind our clerks. Because you know why? That's something they can see. That's something they can touch and feel. A lot of our tax increases go to things that you can't see and feel. They go underground. They don't get nothing out of it until their sewer line clogs up uptown, or they can't get water out of a well. I appreciate your time. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And I appreciate the time that you serve, because you've got to go back and answer to your constituents. And my constituents are sitting back there wearing hats and black uniforms, and also the taxpayers. But job one, I got to take care of these men and women. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Marchesoni.
Yes, sir.
My name's John Marchesoni. I'm with the Trustee's office here in Coffee County. I showed up tonight to represent the employees. I wanted to talk to this committee based on compensation and some of the options that you have. I don't know that I could say any more than what these employees have already said. You know, they've addressed that there is a need to increase compensation. They've addressed that there is a need to slow down the turnover. I think they brought to everybody's attention that we share a real problem with turnover. I don't know how to put how much money you want to put on turnover, but it's got to be an expensive amount every time you replace an employee. April 24th, I came in and presented a budget, and I talked about the performance in my office and what my employees were doing. And I'll tell you, it's very impressive. I just stand back and they take it upon themselves to meet all the productivity goals that we set, and they exceed all of our expectations. I can't improve upon what they've done. I mean, it's just a small item. From May to June of last year, they brought in over $400,000 in delinquent taxes. They did it. I didn't do it. They did it. So they're doing a tremendous job, but my office is not the only office. There's a clerk's office. There's a registrar's office. There's the probation office, chancery court, circuit court, sessions court. Every one of those employees get up and go to work every day, and they do the best that they can. School system, you know, how tough is it got to be a teacher? How tough is it to try to manage all the money that you have to manage for? Are there 10 schools, 11 schools? 10? Okay. So we have a lot of challenges right here in Coffee County. You, as a commission or body, you have a lot of responsibility to the taxpayers and where the money goes. I've been to these meetings, and one of the things that I'm not real clear on is a total of expenses. I'd like to know what our total expenses are. And If could I get that for tonight? Do we have that?
It's in your budget.
Well,
I
it's
posted the entire budget.
you did, and it's broken down. What I'd like to see is a total. What is our total expenses?
28, is that right, Mary? He wants to know the total expenditure. General fund, the restricted fund,
Total.
highway.
How much is our total expenses?
Should be.
29,769.
Estimated expenditures.
Total general fund is 31 million, John.
So we spend.
31.5.
So the county commission spends 31.5 million, 31,500,000 a year.
No, Coffee County taxpayers spend 31 million.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'll accept that. What about our revenue? What is our total revenue?
Before they leave, I've got something to say. So- Can I cut in on
Sure.
a minute? But before y'all leave, I started out at the sheriff's department and worked there 8 years, making $8.50, $9 an hour, and never got a pay raise the entire time. So I quit. And then I spent 30 years in the military and 2 years in combat, which I know what it's like, what you do. I mean, I've done it. I've been there. And the only reason I ran for county commission is for the employees' pay. Because I'm retired, I've got a house in Mexico. I could be laying on the beach right now drinking margaritas. But I'm here to fight for you. I promise you that, and I do. And you're right. Some of these county employees, or some of these commissioners, I'm not saying these, some commissioners don't care if you get a pay raise or not. But I'm here every day to fight for your pay raise. I just want y'all to know that.
All right.
Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
You got 2 minutes.
The revenues.
I don't want to hash the whole budget out right here. I would, yeah.
I'm not hashing the budget. I just want to know what
It's
what the
30
revenues are. Total revenues.
I don't think he gave you the revenue amount. I think he was, I don't think he gave you the expenditure amount. I think Dennis gave you the revenue amount, right?
No, our proposed budget's 31,500,000.
Okay, that's for expenses.
Yes,
Okay, and then the revenue.
yeah. Revenue's a little light, 29 million. We're 2 million short right now.
Okay.
And the quicker everybody gets done talking, the quicker we can get to
2
it.
minutes.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm a optimistic person. I think we can reach that deficit. I think we can exceed our revenues. I think we might have to find a way to be a little more creative in generating revenue without increasing taxes.
What we gonna do, start selling marijuana off the street or what? Because everybody else has looked at it, I mean, about generating new things.
I haven't heard anything in these meetings. I haven't heard anything to increase revenue other than the mayor's proposal of property tax increase.
Yeah.
But
That's the only way we
I
generate
don't
revenues
think
through
there's been a
taxes.
mayor's proposal for a property tax
Yeah.
increase. I asked in the work session if the commissioners were willing to talk about a tax increase.
But the only way we generate income is through a tax or a levy.
Okay. I think that there's a way maybe we can be creative. Maybe we can talk with other counties and see what they come up with. But I think there's other ways to increase revenue
How?
without
Real
raising
quick.
taxes.
How?
I think that's something we should look into. I'm not saying
Okay.
how. I'm just saying
Okay.
I think it's something we should look into.
Okay.
But I thank this committee for their work tonight. I thank the employees for showing up, and
Yeah, I do too.
I think we can set those goals. I think we can reach those goals. You know, what's on the table right now is a 3%, 5%, and 7% increase in. Is that not? That's not right.
If you don't know the number, please don't say it.
Okay. Can you? Could you give me that number, please?
No, I can't give it to you because we haven't voted on
Yeah.
anything yet. We're still talking about it. and
Well, I
until-
think there was.
until we get done with
Okay,
the
all right.
comments, we can't do
I'm
anything.
good. Miss Tony, you want to speak?
I want y'all to adjust your attitude.
Ma'am, I'm ready to go to work,
We are too,
okay?
but we don't want to be disrespected.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
It's not sounding good from this seat.
Well, hold on. Let me just say one more thing, and then I'm finished, okay? I think it was discussed 3, 5, and 7. It was also discussed that the insurance was going to increase by 5%. We've got a CPI index that is also 5%, which CPI indexes inflation. So what I'd like for you to consider is 5% for the CPI, 5% for the insurance. That's 10%. Thank you.
Would you like to speak?
Yes, I do.
Kaboom.
Everybody needs to take a deep breath, including myself. I don't know why these attitudes get so crazy and why we might put out something that threatens the taxpayers and the citizens of our community about a tax increase when we have the rainy day fund, the slush fund, 10 point something million.
We don't have a rainy day fund.
Okay, what's it called, Mariana?
It's called a fund balance.
Fund balance.
$10 million,
okay?
yes, ma'am.
And, you know, y'all asked the school department their amount. They told you. We have ran, and, you know, I can speak for my office, but first, before I get into that, I want to say something about the men in uniform and all the others, the EMT and the volunteer fire departments. I grew up in that environment, but you know what the big difference was? And this man over here knows what it was. They paid for mine and my sister and my mama's insurance and my daddy. We had free medical. We had a free place to live, free utilities. We had reduced cost at the commissary in exchange for the items that we needed. I lived that way for 20 years. I searched for lunch money in our house. They didn't provide lunch money, okay? I know, and I've never forgotten where I came from. And I'm sorry. I am. I'm going to stand right for you and tell you. I know everybody knows what my salary is. I'm not proud of it. I am not. So don't, you know, the officials, some of us didn't know what we were going to get paid when we ran. I didn't until 2 weeks before the general election. That's when I found out. I actually thought it was $45,000. I made a lot more money than that, 6 figures, as a real estate broker. But I sure didn't know that our state was funding these jobs for that amount of money. So again, you know, we as the county, we're not the military. And these people, everything from back in the day when I was living in the military world is probably up 200%. And I don't know how they make it. I know that in my office, just like what they've talked about, when they're making under $20 an hour, they're working a second job on the weekends. So what happens on Monday, my people come in pretty tired because they've worked all weekend. They hadn't had a day off. And we're better than that. They give us better than that. I cannot believe how far the technology and the advancement in my office has went, and that's because of the team that I've been able to maintain in there. I can't do it all, but I sure have been able to jump through the hoops to get us there. And, you know, it can be so much easier when you start out with this budget if you clarify some of the things we found out this week. And I do not think, when I look at what we're looking at, that we don't need to raise taxes. We're good this year. And you know what? It's only going to get bigger. I'm in the registrar's office. I see all the properties selling. I see the rooftops coming in. There's more that I didn't even know about that I watched be advertised on TV that's out in the other end of Tullahoma, in the city. Those houses are $385, starting at $385, and they've got a whole development coming in, and they've already got about 6 houses sitting there. There's so much out there that we've not even gotten to getting that money yet. In order to get there, we've got to maintain the staff. We've got to maintain the educators. We've got to maintain those sheriffs to keep control of the environment that we live in now. I just want to say this about my office, and I know the others are in about the same shape, is when looking at this, I think my whole wage and benefit package is only 4.4% more than last year. My people still are not where they're supposed to be against the state, across the state. Coffee County is behind, and we were behind in 2014. We were severely behind, and I provided graphs and charts and everything, and brought those in, and Tim Morse threw them up in there and said, don't bring anything like this again to the table. I was trying to let you know in 2014, oh yes, there's witnesses. In 2014, I was trying to educate this county that we were way excessively behind. Last year, we had a mayor that he knew it because he'd been all across the state. He knew a lot. And it's a shame that he's not here today. But he made sure these employees got 8% because he listened to us and he knew we knew what we were talking about. Like me or don't like me, think about the employees. Don't think about me. I'm only here every day to do a job. I'm not here to build a friend corral or an audience or followers. I'm here to work for the citizens. I look out my window every day when I walk through there, and I think about what all we're getting done that day for the people out there and how I'm protecting their biggest asset is their property and their home, the title to it, trying to make sure we watch everything that comes in that door. I think my budget, Mariana can correct me if I'm saying this wrong, I think it was right at 16% total more. I've lost my sheet here where I had it because I'm so nervous. I think it was around, yes, right here. Total operating was at 16%. Total budget at the end of it was 5.7% difference. 5.7% difference. And yes, we're getting some equipment, but I managed that creatively with the flat bed wide scanner that we got, and now we're going to get a cradle scanner. There's offices in this room that need to use that cradle scanner that I'm getting. It's not just going to service me, it's going to service every one of y'all's preservation of your records in the old books. We'll be able to go in there and replace any page that you can't read. When I came in, it was going to cost $98,000 to get 40 books scanned. $98,000. And I knew, well, I couldn't even get $4,000. How was I going to come ask for $98,000? Y'all, it's 2025. I've been around a long time and watched the growth in this county. It has exceeded what I ever thought I would see in my lifetime at this point from being a real estate broker for 20 years. I sold this county. We're just at a crest of it. It's going to be mountain high what's going to happen here. And everybody needs to understand that to go forward, we have to take care of what we got. We have to take care of our facilities. We have to take care of our schools. We got to make sure we have the right equipment, and that takes money. The employees can't make it happen. They depend on you, the commissioners, to look at this budget, know that you've got some foundation there, and know that, yes, you may be taking a little chance this year of thinking about what's going to come in at the end of 26, this time next year. But I'm not going to say I'm a betting person because I'm not, but I feel so much assurance from what I see and hear across the state of Tennessee in conferences. It's not going away. And we've had a hiccup when we got through the election, and we've got a few things out there going on. It's coming. It's happening. And I ask of you, if you don't do anything else with this budget, pay the people. If you want to take some of my money away to operate that office, do it. Pay the people. If you don't want me to get that piece of equipment, I won't get it, because having the staff is first. I've got to have the staff members there. And $19 and $20 an hour does not cut it. Thank you.
I would like to make a statement. You said the mayor made sure you got 8%. The mayor did not. This board did it.
Excuse me, Miss Reed.
Hey,
I
let's-
worked
let's
on that
go.
board.
We'll just go. Just have a
Okay.
good day. Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Morris,
Yes,
you're not
ma'am.
going to do that to me again. I've grown up since
Ma'am,
then.
I'm asking you to
And
step
I'm going
away.
to say, respect comes back and forth to this table.
Mm-hmm. does.
And, you
And
gave
I
the
know what I'm
mayor
talking about.
Credit, and you didn't give us credit. That was my.
It's okay. Dwight.
I believe you was mayor last year, wasn't you, Mayor?
Do what?
I believe you was mayor last year when we had budget, wasn't you?
Yes,
I believe so.
that's correct.
Thank you.
I did not intend to speak. I just wrote my name down in case during your debate I wanted to ask a question. But there are a few things that have come up and what I've been listening to that are not completely accurate. And I think most of the commissioners know that, but I think a lot of the audience may not know that. Just like that Bonnaroo money, we don't really get to use that money. And it implies, when we're talking about that, that's money we could give that to you, but it's not. It's restricted thanks to the people who lobby and make sure that we didn't get that done. As far as elected officials, they're not paid by the state. We're paying them. The state mandates what we pay them. So it's not quite as easy as it seems. Talking about 5% on insurance. Well, it makes it sound like you need a 5% increase just to cover the insurance. That's not the case. The cost of insurance is near where what the cost would be of payroll. So there's just a number of things. I don't want people to get misrepresented and think we're trying to beat you. This is a tough job. I've been doing it for 7 years. I won't do it again. I think I've spent my time, and it's not something that anybody should be doing unless they want to serve. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Miss Jenny Anthony.
Well, good evening. I think there's still some deputies in here left. My office knows I'm a crybaby, and when I care about something, I get emotional. So I'm gonna try to keep it in. But the things that the deputies said tonight, it hits home. I've lived it, and it's hard. My husband decided he left his job from working at Nissan, making very good money. We had the best insurance you can think of. He took the buyout. He wanted to be an officer. I hated the idea, but I loved that he wanted to serve. I worked in the medical field up until I started with the clerk's office, so I also had a heart to serve. But finally, after he took the buyout, I thought, well, he's not happy. He's not going to be happy doing anything else. So he went on, got him a job as a jailer, working at the Coffee County Sheriff's Department. At that time, it was Sheriff Graves. He made $10 an hour, and we had a daughter, and you know, as he went on, you know, of course the Nissan insurance was gone, and I didn't have insurance. Me myself, he was covered. I didn't have insurance. My daughter didn't have insurance, and we went along without insurance for a while, and then when he finally got accepted to go to the police academy, 2 weeks into the police academy, found out I was pregnant. with my son. No insurance. I couldn't go on without it. So I had to march myself into the health department and sign myself up on teen care. And that hurt my pride just a little bit. So the deputies that spoke tonight, it hits home with me because I see the sacrifice. And I know Miss Heather Eldridge, we were in this together. Brian and Jonathan worked at the jail. They started together, so that's how far we go back. She's with me on this. She knows, and we've had the same hardships. Sheriff Parton, you asked why do we do this? And truly, I don't know, but I think it's mainly because we care. And we care about what we do. We care about the citizens, and we care about our county. And each one of my clerks right here, they care about what they do, and they make sure they do a good job. Yes, I've had turnover, 100%. Our job is hard, and we deal with the same folks that the sheriff has to deal with. They come to court in shackles. The building is not ideal for a judicial system. I know it's a lot of money, and we talk about, I know it's going to take time. I'm not here to talk about that, but the things that we have, our tools that we have to work with are very limited. And then when your pay is limited, your tools are limited, it's hard to keep the morale up. And it puts a lot of pressure on me. They're wanting answers from me that I can't give. And my hands are tied. So it is very, very difficult being in this role, not being able to give and do what you see as necessary. Commission, this commission has been wonderful. I think up until you guys came in, I don't know that the county employees ever got raises. I think there was the step in grade, and of course I believe I disrupted the apple cart with what I did when I first came in, but I was very passionate. I lived it, and that is why. Whatever I got to do, I'll do. I'll give them my 3%. If I was able to do that, I would give it back to the employees, 100%. I don't do it for the money. I'm hiring deputy clerks in making at least $3 more on the hour than when I was running General Sessions Criminal Department as a chief deputy clerk. It's not about that. And again, I still, and there's very many days that I ask why, but I wake up the next morning and I'm ready to go because I'm passionate about it, and I'm passionate about what we do. So I just want to kind of introduce who's here. They didn't want to speak, and I understand, because I don't love public speaking either. But Wanda, she's been with the department for a very long time. She's our accounting clerk. She wears many hats. She's our accounting clerk, but she wears many hats. She takes care of everybody, and she's kind of our mentor. And if anybody wants to know anything about anything, we're like, just go see Wani, because she knows it all. We do have a nickname for her in the office, and she's AKA the warden. If you're getting a phone call in the office from Juanice, you know that it's like reporting to the principal's office. You know you've done something wrong, you've received something wrong, and she's going to call you out on it. But she is wonderful. Don't make any mistakes. But yeah, no, she's great. Miss Heather Eldridge, she came in before I started this role. But I know she worked, I don't know if you care if I say, she worked here at our local dry cleaners. Yeah, so she came in making, I don't know, what was it, $13 an hour? $13 an hour. And now what are we up to? I want to say you're up to 21. She's my chief deputy clerk in civil, in civil sessions court. She didn't have the confidence. She didn't think she had the confidence to take on that role. That department is running better than it has ever ran in the history of ever. There has always been a backlog, No more backlog. She keeps it caught up. She took on that role. The whole department, she took that on, and the lady that was chief deputy, she had left. We had another position open. We only had, I don't know, I sat back there for a while because we only had like one employee. I think somebody was on vacation. We had one employee that had worked in that department, and I knew enough to get by with, but I didn't do day in, day out. So Heather walks in. She was working in sessions criminal, and she walks in. She had worked in civil before, but she walked in, and she's completely, that department has run better than it ever has, and I'm so proud of her. Same thing with Rhonda Steele. Same thing happened back in November. I was actually running the department myself, me and Juanice. Thank you, Juanice. And then Whitney Bryant, she helped when she could. She runs my sessions criminal department, but Rhonda has done the same thing. She has turned the circuit department around and is doing fabulous. Whitney, I was her. She's the chief deputy over sessions criminal. Very high volume, very fast paced, very demanding. Demands of, and Rhonda gets it too. The demands of the DA, the PD, the state. Rhonda has to deal with TDOC. Whitney, she's in communication. They both are in communication with the sheriff's department. Tammy out the jail administrator. It's constant and it's fast paced and it's a lot to keep up with and a lot of paperwork. Jerry Davis. Her and Whitney, they act like they don't get along, but they are two peas in a pod, and she's a workhorse, and she also works in her sessions criminal. She will often stay over. I catch her over. I'm like, Jerry, what are you doing here? I gotta get this in, and so very dedicated. Reed didn't want me to acknowledge him, but I'm gonna get to a little bit of what he does. I hired Reed, of course, in fear that he's going to leave me because he's young and he's very intelligent. So y'all don't try to steal him from me because I really need him on my team because Juanice is wanting to retire and I don't want her to, but he is going to take on Juanice's role in accounting. Reed, he has a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics. I don't know who does that, but he loves numbers. And I'm so grateful for that. But he took on the role, and he started in session civil, and now he's working his way toward being my accounting clerk, and I see a very bright future for him. I'd like to hang on to him. So if we could get him more money, I would like to keep him around. He would be a huge asset to the county itself. So Reed, he is so very number oriented. He printed up some graphs. Tim, please don't throw them. He printed up some graphs just on some numbers just based off of our office. No, I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing. But I just kind of wanted you to see what it is that the first sheet, and I'll pass them around. This first sheet is the amount of money that was receipted in our office by year, and he kind of did a graph.
I need a dip.
So each year, and Reed, you may have to help me just a little bit because he prepared these right before I walked in here, and I was making copies before I came in. But each year there's been a little bit of an increase on the amount of money that our office has receipted. So right now, and we'll probably get to about $6 million that our office has receipted. That's how busy we are. And when I say $6 million, it's not big dollar amounts at one time. You're talking about $100 here, $100 there. So that's a lot of work, receipting that much money. So that's how much volume that we have. Our second page is the money that has been dispersed to the trustee. and it has grown a little bit each year. And Reed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we calculated, it's not on the sheet, but I think we're at 6% on the money that's money that's been distributed out to the county, not necessarily general fund, but it is county revenue. And then on the two back sheets is just kind of a breakdown of what our cost bills look like and the money that was generated from that. I just like you to kind of see what it is that we do, because I feel like you know that we do a job, but sometimes the details you don't see, and I just kind of like to share that with you. There's a lot that goes into it. Our cost bills, I don't know, we have how many lines on our cost bills? About 30 something lines where monies get put into certain line items and then it gets dispersed. I'm sure Marianne deals with the same thing. Yeah, and now we have a new one to add on to it. So I did work on that today with the state again. Then I also wanted to bring up to this board a little bit of positive news, because I didn't bring it up before just because, and I'll pass this around, I wasn't for sure how it would fall, and I just now got our invoices for our software, our case management system. Sure. Oh, no, you're fine. But so the state mandated that our juvenile courts go on a certain software system. So we were paying for that software system in all of our courts, but since the state mandated, it is state funded, that the case management system that our juvenile court's going on in July, it's going to save about a little over $10,000. So I don't know if that helps any, but not when you're talking big numbers, but it's something. And I just wanted to let you know that $10,000 out of my maintenance fees will not be spent this upcoming year. And Commission, I thank you, because y'all have covered a lot of ground the past few years, and we've gotten increases every year since I took office in March of 21. So that says a lot. And I do feel like, I know y'all have a hard job, and I know there's a lot at stake, but my job is hard too. There's been many nights when I've had turnover and I'm trying to make things work and we're thin. I mean, there's been many nights I've been up to 2 o'clock in the morning. I had to figure out how to file an appeal with the Court of Appeals, because my chief deputy clerk left, and she was the only one in the office that knew how to do that. So I'm self-taught, and now I'm best friends with the appeals court, because we've had several more than we've ever had before come in at one time. But I'm proud of our office. I'm proud of what we do. I'm proud of all county employees and all the offices. And I thank the sheriff, the deputies, and the commissioners, and Donna. I thank you and your office, John. Everybody has a hard job. There's not an easy job. But I do feel like we don't need to go backwards. We need to keep moving forwards. And the weights are heavy, and everyone is exhausted, and we get tired. And I don't want to lose what I have, because what I have is good. So, whatever we can do, if there's anything that I can do, I'm happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Reed, you can't have him, but he's back there in the corner.
In the accounting office. I met him.
You've met him?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm just teasing, but no, I promise he couldn't leave me.
Okay, that's the end of the public comments, and I would like to say this. Everybody in this county works their tail off. They do, and they're not acknowledged enough, whether thanking, financially, support, the school system's the same way. I think just about everybody's job is that way, but we do care about you as employees. This job is hard when you sit up here and you're trying to, as one thing that Dwight mentioned a while ago when we were sitting in the mayor's office, if you take money out of the general fund, which now is drawing interest, not only are you cutting the general fund, but you're cutting a revenue source. And I'd never thought of it that way, because that money is in a bank drawing interest. I don't know what it is, but that's something that was new to me tonight. I mean, that money sitting there is drawing interest, so it is a revenue source. It may not be the best in the world, but if you take and take and take, over the next 4 years, we're going to be broke. So there's things that, to me, need to be, yeah, in 10 minutes we will. But that's me, okay? So I'm on to approving the minutes of the previous meeting. And I didn't see anything.
I did. Somebody, do you need approval first?
Mm-hmm. Somebody make a motion to approve the minutes, and then she has a,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
okay, by Nettles,
I'll second it.
by Chambers. All right, Mariana.
I believe the motion was amended down Commissioner Stubblefield, he just left, but it was 5% July 1st, and if we have the revenue available, another
2% in January.
2026.
So that would be the third one from the bottom,
Yes.
5%
He amended,
July, 2% January of 2022.
So remember if we voted on that or not, so.
I don't think we did, did we?
I didn't think we did, but.
I thought he had amended it.
He amended
I remember him saying that, but
He
I don't
did,
know.
I remember that he amended, the motion to do it and divided among employees would not exceed more than the higher,
Mhm.
the department head, not, but I didn't remember.
So you want to leave it the same or change it?
I don't care.
Well, I've got it in the budget broke down. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It all adds.
I can
Okay.
change it on here.
It doesn't matter.
All right, we'll leave it the way it is, as written.
And,
He's here right now.
TV, did I put ATV?
I think I just drew this page.
Yeah.
On budget proposal discussion.
It's, okay,
TVA.
I did. I did. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I can fix
Well,
that.
did we approve the senior citizens with the rural fire? Because I know we talked about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Which,
okay.
we probably need to look at that too.
Everybody good with the minutes? Okay, all those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Okay, minutes passed. All right. Next thing up is, budget amendments from Mariana.
These are very short. They're just all that we're fine.
Hey, Tim Brown, is that stamp over there?
Did we get the May 29th minutes? I forgot. I didn't see the May 29th.
No.
We
I know
haven't
you
done them.
weren't here, Laura.
We haven't done them. I'm gonna have to go back through the video and do it.
I just want to make sure I always put them.
I wasn't here. I guess I
Okay, anybody need a,
They wanna do them.
okay, budget amendment? All right,
Okay, these are just the end-of-year amendments that I have to do. It's 1/16/2025-22 is the first one. These are revenues that were higher than what I had originally budgeted. That's the top part. Those are increases. Reducing where it says 55732 convenience centers. Overtime, maintenance, repair, solid waste equipment, and other equipment. So we're reducing the convenience centers and then adding to the bottom down here, the second part. Reduction in wholesale beer tax, that's revenue $16,919. Convenience waste collection charge $7,500, and then we need to increase the sanitation management trustees commission by the 1,157. Waste pickup, increase contract private agencies 31,000. Vehicle and equipment insurance which is 511, 2,405. And then convenience centers, just their small just benefits, retirement, medical, dental, and then increase communication, electricity. That's a total of $60,943. No effect on fund balance with the amendments for the rural solid waste fund. The next one is ambulance fund, 1/18/2025-23. Increase in permits, $500. Increase in patient charges, $82,928. Increase vision, communication, trustees commission, and then we've returned to fund balance $77,015, which makes a total fund balance of $2,224,647. Next one is highway fund. This one is very minor, but right now I have to do formal budget amendments for anything that's salary or benefits. So decrease fund balance of $130. Increase vision, life insurance, medical, dental. So that decreases the 130 to $1,589,238. And then the last one is the drug fund. 1/22/2025-25. The top part revenue, these are increases. Drug control fines, 5,000. Drug control fines, which comes from another court, 15,000. Proceeds from confiscated property, 43,255. Sale of materials and supplies, $60. Sale of equipment, 20,000. Contributions, 20,000. Insurance recovery, $30,950, and then the expenditure lines are just reduced. And then increase 54,150 drug enforcement, 429 instructional supplies and materials. Increase that 20,000. That is the contributions that we received for 20,000. And then we return to the unassigned fund balance, 202,765. New drug fund balance, 730,736.
Y'all want to make a motion on all
I'll
four
make
of
a
them?
motion to approve all of them.
Okay, 22,
Second.
23, 24, and 25
Yeah,
by
I'll
Herschel.
second.
Second by Stubblefield. Any questions or discussions? All those in favor by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Y'all want to take a break? You asked for a, okay,
Please do.
10-minute break?
I'm on that, I'm waiting.
No more than 10 minutes.
Got it.
6:34.
We have about 50,000, right, quite close to $50,000 worth of air conditioning repair that has to be done at the jail. And Frank and I have been and talked, and Rick got together. It's hitting Rick hard right off the bat at the beginning of the year, and his budget is taking
Right.
wiping out hit
Right.
a third. And it's not attached to that $150,000 part where we're going to replace one a year if we have to. That's really
Right.
So did he put anything in there in the
In his budget?
No, I don't even, do not put it in his budget, because I want to take it out of his budget and put it in capital projects, because it's killing him.
Repair can't be in capital project.
Huh?
The repair cost
Yeah.
has to be the actual HVAC unit itself. It's equipment purchase.
It can't be the repair of them?
No,
capital projects?
it's difficult. You have to separate it. I know.
I've got them all separated, and they're all, they're all $8,000 and $9,000, but when he adds them up, it hits him bam right off the bat.
I know, and
The
that's,
first of his budget. So what
that's
we
the
do?
way it is.
Can we put it on his, add it to his budget then? Because we gotta do something to help him.
We just went over
'Cause
his.
we're eating him up.
Oh, I know, we talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
We watch
Yeah,
his
I know,
budget
I know.
constantly. I mean, we just,
Did we do anything?
unfortunately, it's like the jail medical. It's one of those,
I just want him to be able to have something there that he says that he can operate and not sit there and take a big hit right off the bat.
the problem we have between me and you,
All right, my microphone's back on. We were asking the mayor about an impact fee on new homes. The answer is no. It would have to be done by a private act by the Tennessee legislature.
And it is also not a recurring revenue.
And it's a one-time deal. Okay. All right.
And it hits our kids when they're building a single house, just like it hits the developer building 100 houses.
Yes.
So,
Okay. And it's on the end of developer's home. I mean, he's going to add
correct,
it to
he
it.
just adds
Okay.
it on, yeah.
Budget proposal discussions. See where we're at. Everybody make sure your microphone's on, that way they can hear us.
Can I speak briefly about
Yes.
the mayor's budget?
Yes, sir.
Right quick, Miss Tony, it's so much easier to brag on someone deceased than it is to
Excuse me, I had the wrong year and I said the wrong thing. My mistake.
Thank
Do we
you.
all hear that?
Yes.
But being up here and being as upset as I am that we're at this point and being treated like I have been all through the years, I got out of sync on thinking, no, Judd Matheny was not the mayor when that 8% went through.
Who was the
He-
mayor?
Dennis Hunt.
Thank you.
Stepped into his seat. My bad.
And I cut $120,000 from the
I got-
mayor's budget to help
I got
get
something to say on that.
raise implemented.
Same pay, yes.
I got something to say. But Judd was the mayor when you got your $1,500 bonus, all the employees.
Yes, it was.
Now, the mayor's budget, moving forward, our budget, then the mayor's office will be about 100 less than it was than the current budget. The county attorney and the mayor's budget combined was moving towards $648,000 2 years ago. This budget cycle that we're fixing to approve, that number is now $433,000. The mayor's budget prior to my getting here included travel expenses charged to the Coffee County taxpayers of $600 a month. This year, there will be 0 tax dollars spent on the mayor's travel expenses. I'm not charging the county nothing, just like I said I was not going to when this budget was approved. So anyway, the mayor's office is not the sheriff's office. It is not the school budget. That's where the big money is. You know, when I'm making my cuts or looking at things to try to save taxpayer money, it's minute. It really is. It's really minute. Now, in the work session, there was something regarding a property tax increase. I asked in the work session if the county commissioners, any county commissioner, wanted to discuss a property tax increase. Every single commissioner made no moves to raise their hand. Some of them were shaking their heads. But just to put it in perspective, everything is going up. We heard it 20 times tonight. Everything's going up, everything. But the property tax, right? I'm just for an example, I'm going to throw out there. 1 penny raises $160,000 in property taxes revenue. 1 penny. 5 cents would raise $800,000. That could move straight to employee raises. Me personally, I live on a farm that I work for. I did not inherit it. You know, my birth certificate didn't make me a millionaire. I worked for it. I have an 80-acre farm, a pretty nice house. It's appraised at $600,000. I wouldn't take twice that for it. The assessed value with a nickel added to the property tax rate would cost me $45 next year. We did Commissioner Stubblefield's. Yours was what, $48? $48. Commissioner Miller, we did his. He's got a pretty nice piece of property. His property tax would go up $60.
That was one place.
One place. He owned a bunch of property, don't you? So I'm saying it's not that catastrophic to the individual taxpayer, but could have what I would call catastrophic positive aspects for our county employees. One nickel. There are counties that are raising their property tax rates 35 cents to get their self in order. This nickel is, I feel, minuscule. Now, having said that, I hope that this would not just be brushed aside. I think it needs serious discussion. Tullahoma City Mayor Lynn Seaborn has endorsed a property tax for the city of Tullahoma. It's not unheard of right now. The fund balance is important. We have an unexpected expenditure one year because of a lawsuit. Commissioner Miller brought that up. Nobody saw it coming. We had to write a check for $1 million one year. Anything like that can happen to us in the future. That's why Commissioner Morris keeps reminding us, pounding the table, you don't use fund balance for recurring expenditures. You just don't do it. So that is something that I want the commissioner. I don't have a vote, but I think a nickel on the property tax will take care of our employees right now and give them a significant raise without hurting the bank account. And so that's basically all I need to say. Thank you.
I feel like Chad, what he said tonight about not being reelected, I could care less if I'm reelected next year and a half. But the tax increase is coming, and the employees have got to be paid. And I wouldn't care to pay $50 more a year on my taxes. And I think we do need to discuss it instead of just say, no, I don't really want to talk about it. We need to talk about it. We're broke. Or we're not broke, but we need some money.
Mary Ann, when you got all the money in there right now, how short are we?
With the adjustments, I discussed where it's 1.6.
And that was with what kind of raise? Does that have a raise?
5% and
Five.
leaving the longevity pay.
Okay, 5% in the longevity pay.
Let me ask this, Morris. When we were doing the, back the first time you was on, and you did Tim's budget, and we did all that slashing and cutting and freezing and a little bit of everything, who suffered on that?
Everybody.
Everybody, but the employees suffered quite a bit.
Yes. Mhm, they didn't get a raise that year.
They didn't get a raise. Well, they went several years, which is very little, just whatever the step in grade made.
Yeah.
So, I think we need to figure out a way to take care of that. Not only raises, but something with insurance. And I'm not a big fan on raising property taxes, but we didn't raise property taxes back then, but look what we did. We probably should have done that. But I think before I come in, they had raised property taxes. Now, might not have been a good time to do it then, but
Property taxes were raised back then to pay for a jail.
right, in the high school, in a middle school, wasn't it? Or elementary
No.
school.
No, they were raised mostly to pay for that jail.
Right.
To cover
We
that
did
jail.
have to raise them when we had that sales tax lawsuit. Remember the second half sales tax?
Okay.
issue?
Yeah, I think that was before I
Pay
came
that,
on.
yes.
That was, yeah.
But I think, we need to do something to take care of
Yeah.
those employees, because they went for years without getting much of any raise at all.
And we've been talking about the insurance for probably 20 years and haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, man.
increase it. You're paying $650.
I'm talking about a lower monthly payment.
That's what that means. We increased what the county paid. It was $500 a month, and now it's $650. So that's raising it $150 a
$150.
month
And what's the employee pay?
per employee. Whatever is over that, there's different choices of insurance they can pick, and whatever is over that, that's what they pay. So $650 minus whatever the monthly invoice is for the insurance. So we have
So that was an
something.
when we did that, that was an $1,800
Right,
benefit to the individual.
yes,
When you went up from 500 to 650.
right.
So if we go to this year's budget, we're still 1.6 million in the hole. With no chance of any more revenue.
You mean additional revenue than what I budgeted?
Yes,
I'm going to budget conservative,
okay.
so.
When you say that, would there be like 600,000 extra when we wind up next year?
I'm not gonna say that.
Okay,
I'm just
well-
saying that, when you
I
look.
know last year we were 2.1 and everybody said it would come in and it didn't.
Well, I'm not through yet either. The
Yeah.
year's not closed, and it won't be closed till July 31st. So there's money that comes in, during the month of July, some in August, depending on if it's where the funding source is. So there's other money, but I'm not going to spend it
So-
all and have some unreasonable budget that puts us.
So what you're saying though, it's 1.6 now, right?
If
And-
you approve whatever I
Right,
presented
and it
earlier.
may not be, if we did nothing tonight, I mean, if we did nothing, it may not be 1.6 at the end of the cycle,
No, it may
correct?
not.
Okay.
Tim,
Mhm.
you said that our projected deficit last year was the
2.1.
2.1, and then I think Mariana has provided us a figure that said, based on the numbers that we had the other night, then we would roughly end up with a deficit of only 600 on this sheet.
She's got it
Look.
projected to be 952, 233.
It's 952.
That's mine.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's from me. isn't
Oh,
it?
okay.
That's me. When I froze the budget, that's my
Okay, that was
worksheet.
what it was going to be.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
When I froze the budget to last year's budget and added the 5% and added $400,000 for things that went up, we were still $600,000 short.
Short, okay.
But if her revenue has gone up, I've got numbers written everywhere.
I had a couple adjustments in the budget I presented to the Tuesday night's meeting.
The last night.
Because I
1, 4,
finally got all the property tax calculated
8.
for 2026.
So you came to the table tonight with about $389,000 extra revenue, one of them from property taxes and one of them from projected sales tax.
For the schools. Not on our.
Oh,
side.
that's for them. Okay. Sorry.
I had, removed 500,000 enterprise fees payments. We can pay them in general debt service. The jail HVAC, any HVAC equipment, do that in capital projects fund. And then 50,000 removed for capital purchases, I'll put those in capital projects. Increased 911 contribution for whatever the increase in their budget over last year, $105,002. If you remove the 2% salary increase, but keep the longevity pay, that's a reduction of $307,631. And then we need to add back the $450 for the sheriff's deputies, 106, because that is not what, after speaking with Frank, what the sheriff meant. So that brings the adjusted deficit to 1,000,006. If you do all that.
Anybody else want to talk about the 5 cents?
I think everybody needs to put in their opinion on it. I think it's a good idea. We need the deputies, we need the employees of the county, we gotta pay them. We just can't keep laying back and spending money on everything else and not pay the employees.
I agree on that. The 5%, even if we went in the hole,
Oh, did you say 5 cents or 5?
5%
Oh,
raise.
I was talking about the 5 cents.
No, I'm
You're talking
asking
about
about
the
that. The,
I think it needs to be higher than 5%.
well, if you add that to the 8 last year, it's 13 over 2 years.
Well,
I
they've
understand.
been screwed out of pay for 20 years. Every other year, every 5 years, they get a pay raise, and they're short. They need to be paid. We just have to go in a hole and fix it next year. We need to eat beans and rice like they are. Quit spending money.
You said the 5 cents tax increase would be 800,000?
1 penny
Oh.
raises 160,000 and change. So 5 pennies means 800,000.
100,000.
You know, that's,
And a dime would
each
take
fund
care
will
of
get a
all
different
of it.
amount.
They would.
A dime would take care of all of
Yeah,
it.
that's what I wrote down.
Just,
10
you know,
cents.
but you got all these different funds.
care to pay 100 extra on my
So each fund would get a percentage?
Should
You gotta do
we, should we have a fact checker? Numbers.
Okay, 5 cents on the general fund, just the general fund
Right.
And that's reoccurring.
would be. If you do that one more time, we're going to leave. I've got all my
People wanna
stuff.
hear you.
I've got all my stuff.
So that's why I was saying, so it has to be divided, that
Okay,
has to be
it'll give
divided.
the general fund, it's an increase to the general fund of $712,000. So that's what 5 cents would be if we put it in the general fund only, general purposes.
So where does the 78,000 go?
78,000. What's that?
If it,
Minus
If
the
a penny
800,000.
raises 800, you said general fund gets 712, who gets the other? 88 actually, isn't it?
88 or what? I'm not following.
It's
you.
not a trick question, Mary
I'm not understanding, Dennis.
712 is what you said went to the general fund. Where
Right.
does the rest of it go?
That's the only fund that will, I'm just saying the taxpayer, you know, it all comes down, every fund, like, depending if you're Manchester, Tullahoma, rural, you know, you add that to it. That's all I meant. If I said it wrong, I apologize.
so a penny does generate,
No, penny 160,000.
yeah, a penny generates 160,
Right.
165.98.
but
Right.
if you do it 5 times, that's 800,000. How does it drop to 700 and something?
That's the question.
That's what I'm telling you. I would have to give you a
Okay, okay.
spreadsheet to
All right,
show you
okay.
that, what I'm talking about.
Somewhere it goes somewhere though.
Because I think that some of that money has to go in other funds.
It does.
Right.
Okay, so,
There's a formula for distribution.
Yes, and I have a spreadsheet, but I didn't bring it. I can bring it next time. I'd be happy to.
I'm not opposed to
I'm
it.
just saying that's, you're not dividing it between the other ones that are in the uniform tax rate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understand.
okay. But that's what 5 cents just for the general fund, 712,000. Now, you know, we have our allowance for doubtful accounts, because, you know, we never collect all of it. And then we have our tax freeze. And so you have to consider that.
So it's not gonna get there.
So it'll be 712.
Take that 3 off.
Okay, that's a lot.
instead of 10 and 1. Right now. I'm working, dude.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
In this budget, and I heard Marianne talk about the school stuff, is the 6-something still in that budget, or now has that been changed? Because I couldn't hear all that.
The TVA money?
The
Talking about TVA money?
Yes.
Is it in this budget?
It would be in our budget.
It's in our,
The 1 point whatever deficit, is that in or out?
We're retaining it,
yes, we're
Or only
retaining it.
part of it? What was the other talk about? Well, we might give some of it back. Did I misunderstand that?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
That's
a
what I'm
estimated
Yes.
increase in property taxes to the school system, correct if I'm wrong.
Right.
$260,111.
Correct.
Increase to the school system by sales tax of $189,830.
Right.
Which is a total of increase to them $389,941
And then-
projected.
Right. And then we pay the train.
Mhm.
And out
And
of
we're,
our-
okay, yeah, and we're
yeah.
gonna pay the train bill off. I didn't write that down.
It's, the coming year's contribution that they bring us a check when we're paying those bond payments is $352,250. That's for next year.
So you add the 352 to the 389 and it's a wash.
Yeah, they actually have an increase of 130,951.
If we take the TVA money and we do this,
Yes,
they increase their revenue by 100,000,
130,951.
okay?
What if we do that?
So, say we do, come up with an increase in property taxes. Whatever we come up with is what we talked about the last meeting about going by last year's budget. Is that still in play, or does the TVA money come off, or does what?
Right now, we're on that proposed 2026 budget.
Right,
The TVA money comes to us.
right.
We're gonna pay their train debt
Right.
for the air conditioners and stuff of 352,000. Is that reoccurring every year on that, or is that to pay
We
it
have
off?
6 more years to pay.
6 more years, okay? So Stub, we're gonna pay their $352,252 to train. She says that there's $260,111 property tax increase to them, cause I guess that's the ADA part.
That's the growth.
Okay, that's the growth, and
Yeah.
189,000. When if you add those two up, that's gonna be over the 670, so they're gonna be in the green.
Okay, so
They're
it'll
going,
be
or
fine.
in the black. They're not gonna be in the red, they're gonna be in the black by $100,000.
Right.
So, off the table right now.
Right.
Now, we're still at
And
1.6
that puts that TVA back to us.
to us,
Back
yeah.
to us, but we're still.
And we're paying the train out of rural debt.
Yes.
Okay, so the rural people are only paying their debt down, because that is rural people's debt. Instead of having the ADA that, she found a way to do that, which is wonderful.
Well, we didn't have to ADA, but
If
that
it-
was the agreement
Yeah.
when we did the train for
okay.
the school side years ago.
All right, devil's advocate, one more time. If we froze to last year's budget, I know you hate that,
Yeah, I do.
can the train still happen?
Well, yeah, the train can happen.
Okay.
And honestly, I firmly believe, and I've said in the past,
Yeah.
that needs to,
Yeah.
that's the proper way to do
Because
it.
it helps them out too.
Well, it's rural debt that's what it was set
Yeah.
up for. But anyway, that wasn't
That way
us.
we're taking money out of that CD that everybody's talking about on Facebook.
We don't, that's not happening. I don't know where they, no.
What I'm saying, if we recommend a property tax increase, is that gonna still be frozen?
It's what gonna be frozen?
For last year's budget?
This budget.
No. We're 1.6 in the hole with the new proposed budget.
Okay, well, I'm saying if we do add a property tax,
Oh, and we froze it to last year?
are we still gonna freeze it to the next?
Well, that's up to everybody to decide. It's not
Okay, but-
Tim's budget,
Well,
it's
that's
ours.
what I'm asking.
Yeah.
If we do this and
Yeah.
this, are we still gonna go by last year's budget, or does that come off the table? Just throwing that out there.
I would like for it to be talked about. because-
Well, it's gonna be talked about.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be talked about.
Okay.
I've listened as long as I'm gonna listen, I think.
We'll go to talking.
All right. So, first of all, I don't think you're gonna find any committee in the past that's worked harder for the employees of Coffee County than this committee right here. If you go back and look at the records, you'll see that this committee has given a raise almost every year that we have been in, that this committee has been together. I've enjoyed working with these people. I enjoy working with the ones that are in our community. We have some of the best employees and in this county. I have to say, we have some really great employees. And I will stand up for the police officers and the teachers before I'll stand up for anybody else. Because I do believe they're all underpaid. And I agree that everybody has been underpaid for so long, and we've been trying to move everybody in steps so we didn't get overwhelmed with debt. Debt's coming, and we are taking this. We're getting a look at it this year because of what we did last year. We gambled last year, and we lost a little bit. Did we lose a lot? No, but we can handle where we're at. So, that being said, I don't think you will find a better board or a better committee that's dedicated to getting our employees up there where they can have make a living in this county. Sheriff, I'm pissed that your deputies are making $19 an hour. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't have said that on the air, but anyway.
But they've come a long ways from where they used to be.
Exactly. And I hope that everybody realizes that this committee's worked hard to get raises. Now, I'm gonna probably stick my neck and my political career out on the line here. So, I'm gonna propose 8-cent tax increase. Now, you're gonna say, why 8%? I have reasons for it. Now, I won't discuss them right now, but I think 8's where we need to be at. And now I'm gonna tell you, I will go ahead and, do I need to make two different motions on this thing?
Are you saying 8 cents?
8 cents.
8 cents, not 8%.
Not 8, not 8%, 8 cents. I'm 70 years old. I can afford 8 cents more on my taxes. If you can't, then there's another county up on the hill. You can go up there. I'm sorry. Losing people to other counties, I'm tired of it. It costs us money when we train employees, and they take off for another 50 cents on the hour and go to the county over. And I hate that, and I know what the sheriff has been working at and what he's been dealing with. I know every department head in here has been dealing with the same thing. You train your employees, and you're thinking they're going to stay, and they'll sit there and go for another $1 on the hour. I'm sorry that they do that, but that is life. They just do that. They could sit there and drive to Nashville for another $1 on the hour, but the problem is they don't think about, gas money. I just spent $5,000 on gas money. What did I really make? Can I come back? That's what goes on, and that's part of it too. But I still, I think we probably need to do this in a motion on this tax part first, because then I'm going to say what I'm going to say on the rest of it. So I'm going to make that a motion that we raise property taxes up 8 cents, 8 cents, and we'll stop right there for right now. There you go.
And how much would that be on $1 million property?
You got $1 million worth of property, dude? I don't hear it if you do.
I got more.
You need to be sitting there selling somebody else.
I don't need to sell it yet.
Mine goes up to $73. I would have handed all the employees $73 each tonight.
I will too.
But only my farm, $73 more next year.
On 8 cents?
On 8 cents. It was 45 before you made
Can I go
that
up some more?
motion. Huh?
Can I go up some more?
I was looking
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Stubblefield. All right, discussion.
The floor is yours. I know everybody didn't want to talk about taxes, but folks,
I wish I brought my spreadsheet.
This won't be the last.
this is not going to be the last time we're going to talk about this. If we're reelected at some point, but, Tim don't care. But look, I mean, I want what's best for the employees.
I want it too.
And I know this whole committee does.
All right, let me ask you this. If
Is
you go eight-
raising property taxes popular? Heck no. I go home, my wife is fixing to drop kick me, and that's okay. She gets a little wiry, but it's okay.
I have a question. If you go 8, are you gonna raise the pay
Am I gonna raise the pay?
from 5% up?
I'll make a motion too.
Wait a minute,
Wait a minute, you can't do that. There's a motion already on the floor.
Let me interject right quick.
Yeah.
8 cents will raise $1,284,784. Okay?
Say again.
Which we're still in the hole.
1,284,784.
Only you know the formula to that.
We're at 10 cents.
That's gross.
It'll be a million.
All right.
It'll be less than that.
605,
Will you?
980, less
Will you
than
say
that. Right. Because that's gotta be distributed. Right. 10 cents more.
Gosh.
Getting us to the black.
Political suicide. It don't matter.
Do what?
Nice working with you, Mayor.
When you don't get elected.
I want to amend my motion. Did I say a motion? Did I say a motion? I'm going to amend my motion.
Has it even had a second yet?
Yeah, we
Yes,
have.
I have a second. Yeah, Stubblefield. Okay.
I'm going to amend my motion to raise the property taxes. Yeah, thank you very much. 10 cents. 10 cents instead of 8 cents. And then we will talk about the raise part.
All right.
Okay?
He's gonna amend his motion.
Now you got to have the second.
So I gotta agree to it.
You have
If
to
you
agree,
want
or we'll
Or
withdraw
something.
it.
Yeah, I agree to it.
Okay, 10%. I will say this.
10 cents.
10
cents.
10
10 cents, sorry. I will say this though, if you do that, and you go up to the 7%, it's gonna suck $307,000 out, 308 really. So you're gonna add $308,000 to the deficit. What does 10%, 10 gets us even. So we're gonna go back, and if you're gonna give them 7, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If you go 7, you're gonna go in the hole again, 307. We're still not gonna be even.
But these numbers
I'm
are
not
all
right.
workable. We
But
don't know.
it's,
I mean,
that's
they're
an
hypothetical
estimate.
anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Anybody else for discussion on 10 cents?
There you go. 10 cents.
No more discussion.
Are
All
you
the-
changing the salary to 7?
No, ma'am.
No.
You're
No,
leaving
ma'am,
it
no.
on?
I'm just doing numbers over here that if it does go up, this is gonna cover our
got it,
deficit right now. But if we do the 7, then we're gonna dig out 308 more
Right.
in a hole.
I just want to make sure I get it right.
This is not gonna cover the 7. We'll be 308 in a hole at least. All right, all those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Chair votes no.
Motion passed.
Motion passes. That'll go to the full floor.
Well, we're meeting again next Tuesday.
Yes.
right? See,
All right, I know.
We're
things can
working
happen
it.
between now
I
and next
would
Tuesday.
like to throw one more thing out there, my Ruha again.
We're working
Okay.
it.
Tim's, or the freezing. Freezing it at 5%, raise for the employees, 5%, freezing it to last year's budget, adding $400,000 for whatever, extenuating things, gets us to expenditures of 29 million. We take the school money. You say the sheriff's money's off the table now, the 450?
Yep.
It's off the table,
The
so we're,
450 is added back to his deputies.
to
'cause
him, okay,
There's
so,
another funding that
okay.
does not go into that.
So I'm gonna be $1 million in the hole instead of the other way, okay.
Well, if you use one, you put the 450, you have to add that back,
To him.
but take the 500,000 out.
Oh, okay, I came out ahead then.
Yeah.
I'm only gonna be 550 below.
And then I had another 200,000 for capital projects moved out of the general fund.
So then I'm gonna be 350 in the hole.
I don't know what you're looking at to begin with, Tim.
I just have to, it's just something, it's throwing it out there that we stay last year's budget, and if we make it through this year and see that we are gonna have to have a tax increase, we do it next year.
Next year will be a certified tax rate.
For the,
Yep, certified.
Provided because of reappraisal.
okay. But you still can raise it though, right?
You advertise.
If you what?
If you,
You advertise.
yeah.
To raise the taxes?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think it ought to be advertised anyway, that way everybody doesn't think it's what's snuck in on them.
You have to,
It's easier to do it this year.
the dollars have to be
You wanna do your
equal.
motion?
Okay,
It's the dollars next year.
all right, so,
We done voted on the.
yeah, you voted on that, 10%.
10
10
cents.
cents, sorry. I've done too many numbers. Okay,
You gonna throw your raise.
We're gonna wait and see.
Unless you want to.
Go ahead.
Then I'll second it. All right. We done with that discussion, right?
yes, sir.
I'm in trouble enough.
Next motion.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to, give department heads that are not elected officials 3% raise, and employees a 5% raise, and come back in January and look at a possible 2% raise going strictly to their insurance.
I don't know if you can do that or not, can you?
I don't think.
They're gonna make more money 2% on their salary than on their insurance.
Yeah.
Well, then we'll look at it then as 2% raise.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put a dollar figure on it in
Okay.
January.
Instead of percentage figure, you put a dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're being
Exactly.
100 per check.
Okay.
Okay.
50 per check.
Well, what's the motion?
3% raise for department heads, 5% for the employees.
Is that a change to the budget?
And then.
That's a
and
lump,
then-
lump sum.
Is that a 5% across, or are we going to
No,
maintain
we're-
our 5%?
We're giving
goes
that-
to the,
That goes
for
to that
distribution,
department, just like
yeah.
we did last year,
Goes for distribution.
for them to distribute to their employees.
Just gonna look at that first before, or
But it limits the department head to
Yes.
3.
And I don't think that's fair,
I
because
don't
one
either.
person didn't do what they should have done to penalize every other department.
I agree.
I
I
agree.
just wanna say that.
I agree.
2% more on the department heads is not gonna be that much more money you're saving.
I'm just saying,
I-
I know what
I'm
I've
not
been
knocking
hearing,
you, I'm not
okay?
knocking you, I'm saying
No.
that we're not gonna save that much
Oh.
money by holding them down, you're gonna create,
The elected officials get 3% anyway, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
but they make a whole lot more than
Yeah.
our department heads do
Right.
too.
Right.
Or you stop.
Well, he was making one.
And everybody else
You
said
didn't make
it.
it as formal motion.
It ain't even been seconded yet.
No.
I can second it.
No, no.
And you said,
Uh,
and the rest
Do
said,
you want to change it or do you want to leave it?
Not 7. Not 7.
I don't know, like,
Yeah, I want to change
I'll
it.
second
It
that.
had-
You want to change it?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Make it, huh?
I don't even know what it is yet now.
All right, restate your motion.
Motion would be to give them 5%, raise for the employees.
Okay, 5% and then 2% in January, either towards their salary or towards the insurance
Yep.
payment.
Or dollar amount.
Or
a
dollar amount.
All right, you got that, Laura?
Okay, so
All right.
Everybody,
everyone,
except elected officials, which they're state mandated anyway.
okay.
And then in January, they reevaluate at 2% either towards their salary or towards the insurance. And maybe by that time, people can give you input back of what they would prefer. Because to me, I would want it on my salary, I would think. I think it would be a bigger increase than paying my insurance, unless you want to jump way out there and pay somebody's insurance all the way down, but.
That's something we just
Yeah.
need to discuss,
Yeah.
because, yeah, insurance is a big.
Yeah, oh, it is, yes, it's a
Yeah,
huge,
It's
yes,
pre-taxed and
yeah,
it's different.
okay,
Well,
so
I'll tell you why.
that's the motion
Yeah.
right now.
We
Mr. Hurst.
we don't have a second.
No, I hadn't even had a second yet.
I'll second it for discussion.
Have a second by Stubblefield for discussion, all
Now,
right.
Guys, I'll tell you why I want to make sure we get them a raise of any kind, because we have had all the department heads come into policy and procedures and ask them what we could do as far as benefits to help the employees and help them retain them. They said zero.
Money.
Money's what they're after. It's about their pay. It's all it's about. It's about their pay. They're basically, they're happy with their benefit package, but it's the pay. We're terrible.
Well, we're
And
better
we
than
all
we were
know
4
that.
years- yeah, we're
We
better
have
than we were
been-
4 years
We
ago,
are.
but we're not on
But
top,
we're not
that's for
there
sure.
yet, but we're trying.
Okay.
And I want all of our employees, no, we're trying. And so,
Okay.
Can I read
I'm
this?
done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the motion, by Hurst and second by Stubblefield to do 5% on all employees except elected officials, and to revisit in January for a $2 or a dollar amount towards salary or insurance.
2%.
2%.
2%
Yeah.
or a dollar amount, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. All right. Yes, ma'am.
So in January, if it is reevaluated, will the 2% be granted to them, like to the department head, same way as the 5% in a lump sum to be distributed?
If they choose to do it as as salary, or if they choose it for insurance, one way or the other.
we're gonna look at it at that point, because for us to sit there and say it right now is not really fair, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just let us
Really
look at it, because
decent.
we will look at it.
So is the 2% from July to January gonna be back paid? Or they
No.
just start?
No.
Well, then I'm against it. It needs to be,
Just vote against it whenever you.
well, I am. It ought to, and if you give everybody 5%, it's gonna get distributed like last year. Somebody's gonna get more, somebody's gonna get less.
Well,
So you,
and I'm gonna make that statement again, just like I made last year.
Can I
directors
amend
took
his
10%
motion?
last year.
Can I amend, we done voted on that?
No, we have not
Can I
voted.
amend his motion?
Can you do what?
Can I amend his motion?
You can make a friendly amendment if he agrees
To
with it.
him, if he agrees to it.
Yes, if he agrees to
That,
it. All right.
stated there is, you know, you wanna give 5% to everybody to be distributed. I would amend that to be 5% to the department heads to not exceed 5%. You see what I'm saying? That the 5% to the department heads does not exceed 5%.
That still ain't fair.
That gives everybody 5%.
Department heads, if I'm making $100,000 a year, I don't want no pay raise.
I would like to chime in, when they gave the departments a lump sum of money,
Yeah.
the large percentage of the department head divided it by a number. They didn't say you get 5%, you get 5, you get 8, you get 8, you get. They took $100 and divided it among 5 employees, where there's $20 each, for example, including the department head.
Yeah, but some department heads took more than $20.
Not some.
Just
Yes,
one.
they did.
One.
Yes, they did.
One.
One.
One did.
And it was fixed.
And I know it.
And it got fixed. So,
I know what you're saying.
But if that money goes back to the department heads, it is still the department head's discretion how to distribute the 5%, so that these wage problems, that's where we want it to be addressed to change where it needs the changing. Correct? We're all in agreement on that.
And if you have one who is not performing and one overperforming, then you can reward the person who shows up 15 minutes early, stays 20 minutes late, does not go out, smoke a cigarette for 35 minutes and stuff like that, where the other one who comes in 10 minutes late, leaves 15 minutes early, doesn't get as much. And that would be up to that department head to do that.
It would, and hypothetically, there might be some non-performers that get nothing. It would be an incentive for
Yes, ma'am.
performance across the board. Yes.
All right. Any more discussion on
You
his?
agree to my friendly amendment there?
I do.
You do.
You
Okay.
do?
Okay.
You want to
It
repeat
is
that amendment?
5% with the department head not to get receiving more than the 5% to be distributed among their department. We will revisit this in January for the 2%, either going to a 2% raise or something for insurance. And the input from their employees would be greatly appreciated on that, what they would like. I think, am I good?
I got a question.
Yes, Dwight.
The 2%, I'm not clear whether that's guaranteed or not.
No.
No, it is not.
The statement you made it sound like.
Okay. We will look at 2% to be added in January. Is that better?
I understand that.
Okay.
Is that the way you meant it?
Yes.
Okay. So the 2% is not guaranteed in January. If we can afford it.
If we can
So
can't
that's
afford
if.
2 and we can afford 1, we'll go 1.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do something.
We'll look at it.
We're going to look at it.
All right.
So
Any
that's
more
a-
discussion
yeah,
on that?
I
Yes,
do.
sir.
So that's a if the money's there. Okay. Which, that means no, but.
No.
Well, yeah, it does. If we know the money's there, let's just go ahead and give them 7%.
We don't know the
It's gonna,
money's
it's
there.
gonna be there.
You didn't know it this year.
We thought it was there last year and it wasn't.
Well,
Okay.
it's gonna be there. And, 5% to everybody, if you're making $100,000, that's a $5,000 pay raise. Something like that. If you're making $13, you're still making pennies. I mean, you still can't survive.
I don't think we have anybody at $13.
What's the lowest paid person?
I don't know.
What's the
Like,
janitor-
Be a part-time college kid at the library.
No, what's the janitor make?
Who?
The janitor.
I don't know which janitors.
The janitor in this building.
She more than that.
Well, what?
I think she's up to 17, something like that.
I don't think it's that high.
Okay. All right,
No.
we're getting way off track though.
Yeah, sure.
All right. 5%, here we go.
No, y'all don't have the
We're gonna-
numbers right.
We're gonna vote. Well, yeah, but you also have to think about this. The person that is the department head is either been here for a long time, has 1 degree, 2 degrees, multiple degrees, or is an expert in that field. And they get paid based off of their expertise too. I mean, it's like a young builder and an older builder. The premium builder is going to get more for his house than the younger person is.
But I understand that. But if I was a department head making $100,000, I would want that money to go to my employees.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to die.
Well, and there's a limit too. You can only take 5. He's limited it to 5%. So that way.
That doesn't mean that person could take 3% and give the rest of it
Yeah.
to his
Okay.
employees.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I can
They
tell.
can take 0.
They can
Yeah,
take
yeah. I know what you're saying, but I can tell everybody's against me. But still, the employees need more than 5%.
Okay.
Hopefully, but that's the if again. So it's not going to happen.
I'm going to tell you, even with this tax increase, and you go to 7, we're going to be 308 in the hole.
But we got money.
Well, let's
We have money.
numbers again.
Mm.
See
Well,
the real
we're
package.
creating money with that 10 cents. We don't have the money.
Okay. All those in favor by his motion for 5% in the January look at again, in favor by aye. Aye. All those opposed?
No.
All right.
Now, I would like to say, in a prior
Voting
meeting,
against them.
you guys did agree that the department heads, however they decided to
Yes.
disperse this, just like the letters of agreement from our elected officials, they're to turn that in to the mayor's office to verify who gets what, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right. What else we need to talk about, Mariana?
I need to go home.
Yeah. Yes, she does.
Second.
We'll fix that.
What you-
Motion to go.
Okay.
When's the next meeting?
Tuesday night, Tuesday night, 5 o'clock.
Okay. If I-
Let me make sure I got the date right. I think it's the 19th.
No.
That's 17.
Okay.
I got another comment.
All right, hang on. June the 17th, 5 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
We have to finish this thing next week, y'all.
So, I mean, like what we agreed on tonight is just whatever. It could change again.
Oh, yeah, somebody can
That's
come
right.
up with a motion to disavow and poof, it's gone.
Absolutely, that's right. Okay.
Would it be possible for us to get another sheet like this, Mary Ann, showing us the numbers where we are right now to consider?
Okay.
I'm waiting for your
Please.
comment.
All right, so we're requesting that snapshot of that spreadsheet.
That's what you get.
All right, Mr. Brown has a comment.
Yes.
Go on vacation.
It seemed like tonight everybody in here, and I'm not picking on nobody, was all for the county employees getting the pay raise, but when we did it, I'm just not satisfied with it. I mean, if it's going to be 7%, let's make it 7%, not 5%, and then if we have it later, let's give them that, which we won't have it. I know we won't have it. So let's just do the 7% and make it up next year.
We'll discuss it on Tuesday.
That's
I have one announcement, please, while we got public involved. The Tullahoma News has verified that the public notice required by TCA of the vacancy of District 9 in Tullahoma will be in Sunday's edition, which gets us compliant. So his seat can be filled June the 24th.
Okay, his
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Any more discussion on anything before we get out here?
motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn by
Second.
Stubbsfield, second by Hirschman. Everybody make sure you turn your microphone off.